Any moment now, President Trump is going to greet NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg at the White House. Now, this meeting comes at possibly the most tension-filled time in years for the modern world. North Korea threatening to, and this is their words, wipe out America. The Russians infuriated by the U.S. Tomahawk missile attack on Syria, chemical warfare in Syria fanning the flames. This is Vladimir Putin finally found the time in his schedule to speak with Secretary of State Rex Tillerson in Moscow just a few hours ago, but only after taking the time to tell state television that Russia's relationship with the U.S. has dramatically deteriorated. Tillerson and his counterpart, Sergey Lavrov, seen there taking a more conciliatory tone at a press conference that ended about 29 minutes ago, but still acknowledging differences of opinion on key issues. Will this meeting between President Trump and the NATO chief work to America's advantage as these tensions only flare more dramatically? Nicholas Burns is the former U.S. ambassador to NATO. Welcome, sir. For months, President Trump has paired every discussion on NATO with the term fair share, saying member nations have to pay for protection. Clearly, I'm imagining financing now takes a back seat.
I think it does. I think, you have to realize the advantage of a NATO alliance. We have allies who believe in us and will defend us, and the Russians don't. And that's a great difference in the power relationship between the United States and Russia. And as you said, very rightly, this is a tense time. Putin is still occupying and annexing Crimea and eastern Ukraine. He interfered in our elections. And, of course, he's aligned with Assad in Syria. So there's a lot that separates the United States and Russia. And frankly, it was extraordinary to hear Secretary Tillerson say, but I think he's right to say it, that U.S.-Russian relations are at a low point. Finally, we have some realism in the administration, because candidate Trump had, and President-elect Trump had wondered if we could have a great relationship with Russia. Clearly, it's not going to be the case.
Did you hear that news conference between Rex Tillerson and Sergey Lavrov? Because shifting to North Korea, this jumped out at me, where Tillerson said North Korea and we, meaning Russia and the U.S., agree on this, needs to be denuclearized. To me, that showed cooperation and coordination. I don't know if it comes to pass, but that seemed pretty stunning.
Well, that is one of the areas where the U.S. and Russia have agreed for a long time, going back to the George W. Bush administration. We disagree on Europe, we disagree in the Middle East, but we both agree, and we had previously been part of the six-party talks on North Korea, that North Korea should not have nuclear weapons. Obviously, the key country here is China. And President Trump had a discussion with President Xi Jinping last evening. Of course, they were at Mar-a-Lago together last week. And I think the most important thing is for the U.S. to be able to push the Chinese to use the clear leverage they have to try to contain the North Korean nuclear problem and put that responsibility on the Chinese.
Well, Xi apparently did say to President Trump, we need a peaceful solution to this, but it seems to be ramping up as President Trump used the term armada, saying a whole bunch of ships, the USS Carl Vinson among them, have skirted up a little close to that region. Does that concern you as a former ambassador to NATO?
It does not. I think the United States has an absolute right to deploy our fleet in the Pacific.
I know we have a right, Ambassador, but how can that not concern you when you have a crazy man like Kim Jong-un saying, we're going to wipe you off the face of the earth without a trace?
South Korea is our defense ally, and so we have an obligation to protect South Korea. I don't think the crisis is going to get out of hand. Kim Jong-un is young. He's relatively untested, but he clearly recognizes the power of the United States. And when we have these kind of naval maneuvers to make clear the power that we have and have had in the Western Pacific, he's going to take notice of that. I think it's actually a deterrent factor. So I don't see that I don't think the United States is somehow fanning the flames here. And I think the Trump administration is right to show very clearly that we support South Korea.
Former ambassador to NATO, Nicholas Burns, great to have your perspective. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And I want to just